Well, it's Friday, and we all know what that means. That means once again we get to review AEW Rampage, where we feature Konosuke Takeshita versus Jon Moxley, and very other matches I'm so excited to talk about. But also we got who's gonna level up on this episode of NXT Level Up. But first things first, we're going to be reviewing the latest New Japan Pro Wrestling event. As you know, we're continuing more with the annual tournaments, but we're going to focus on this time with World Tag League. We're going to see how far we're going, who is currently at the top of their game, who's at the bottom, and etc., etc., etc. And also, we got some news updates to tell what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling and everything else. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, let's begin with New Japan Pro Wrestling with the latest World Tag League of matches. As you know, that's where we're going to be focused on today on this particular episode. We're going to focus on World Tag League. Now, our opening match we have, of course, is Gabriel Kidd and Alex Coughlin taking on last year's winners of Tag League, Bushiman, consistent of Yoshihashi and Hiroki Goto. Now, you can say in this particular moment that Coughlin and Kidd may not have a chance, but they did put up a good fight against Bushiman. But however, it was Kidd who ended up on the wrong side of Shoto, giving, of course, Yoshihashi to pick up the pinfall. 1, 2, 3. Yoshihashi wins the next 2 points. Next up, we got, of course, the most hated faction in New Japan Pro Wrestling, the House of Torture, Yujiro and Evil, and of course, the spoiler, or should I call him, the sleazeball, Dick Togo shows up as always, but they take on Bebop, a tag team consistent of Toru Yano and Hiroshi Tanahashi. Now you know that Yano would do everything in his power to ensure he wins by pulling off his tricks. But however, the number games has always played a very big advantage for House of Glory. Now, most times throughout both tournaments, none of it worked. But this time it did. Showed up out of nowhere, causing more interference once again. But it was, of course, everything is evil. By evil that finished off Tanahashi, giving their second win so far with the next 2 points. I'm sure Yano's not happy with the things how it turned out, but sooner or later things will not go in House of Torture's favor. Now our next match, we call this the Battle of the Aussies. As you know, we have 2 teams who are from Australia. Our team number 1 is, of course, Aussie Open, Mark Fletcher and Mark Davis representing the United Empire, taking on TMDK, Shane Haste and Mikey Nichols. Now, the reason I say that this is the Battle of the Aussies is because both teams are from Australia. So this match is more like saying who is gonna reign supreme in representing Australia. I think that's always been the case, and talk about this particular match. I have to say both teams did pretty well. It was more like the battle of the pride. Who represents Australia better? Will be TMDK or Aussie Open. But however, in this case, TMDK pulled off another big upset. This time, this is the second loss to Aussie Open. It was the combination between Nichols and Haste onto Mark Fletcher, giving them the win. But in post-match, the TMDK wanted to show respect to Aussie Open, but you know, they act like they think they're better than everyone, so refuse to shake hands, refuse to acknowledge that it was a good match. But That's how they are. But you may ask yourselves right now, would this affect their purpose in TagLeague? No, but that's how it goes. Now, our main event, we have Minoru Suzuki-gun, consistent of Lance Archer and Minoru Suzuki, taking on LIJ's Sanada and Tetsuya Naito. Now, you know the history between Sanada and Naito and Suzuki-gun. They have faced off on various occasions, on numerous times. As if you remember, a couple years ago, Naito criticized Suzuki, asking him, "You're the king of what?" We all know the reputation of Suzuki-gun. He's always been playing mind games. But however, it was in fact the destino by Naito onto Suzuki to pick up their next wins. Now, you probably know Suzuki-gun will not let this happen. They will not forget this night fall into their favor. So, they will get a measure of revenge. But let's see how they do in the point system standing out. Now at the top, we got Aussie Open with 7 wins and 2 losses. So that means 7 times 2, that's 14. So they're currently at number 1, the top. Most likely they could go to the to the finals, but however, we got 3 teams currently set up with 6 wins and 2 losses. That's the total points of 12. So we have a 3-way tie. So this is going to be very interesting. We have TMDK, LIJ, and Bushimon. So these 3 teams are currently tied. I don't know how they're going to break this, but we'll find out. We got P.P.P tag team, Tanahashi and Yano. They're currently with 4 wins, 4 wins and 4 losses. That is, of course, the total points of 8. Same thing with United Empire, Khan and Hinare. And then, of course, we have Suzuki-gun's Suzuki and Archer with 3 wins, 5 losses. That is the total points of 6. Fale and Chase Owens are currently have 2 wins. That's a total of points of 4. But however, it's already been confirmed that all the remaining matches that Bullet Club has are now forfeited due to the fact that Chase Owens had to withdraw from the tournament due to the passing of a family member. So, which is totally understandable. As for House of Torture, they currently have 2 wins so far, 4 points with 6 losses. I don't see them making all the way to the finals. And of course, there's Gabriel Kidd and Coughlin with only 1 win so far with 7 losses. So most likely we can say they're officially out. So like I said before, right now Aussie Open are at the top with 14 points. But TMDK, LIJ, and Bushimon are currently with 12 points. So we have a 12-point tie. I don't know how this is going to break, but we're going to find out soon enough. And I think that's pretty much it with New Japan Pro Wrestling. I believe it's time to move on with AEW Rampage. Okay, AEW Rampage. It opened up with another classic match. Konosuke Takeshita taking on Jon Moxley. You know this was going to be one of those banger matches you definitely don't want to miss. And I think it was a pretty good match. Now, you probably guessed, would Konosuke Takeshita has his time to beat Moxley? Well, you know Moxley, he loves a good fight. You know he would do anything to put him away. He even used Konosuke Takeshita as one of his finishers, the jumping knee strike that was passed on to him by Jun Akiyama. That did not work. However, it always ends the same with a sleeper hold by Moxley to Konosuke Takeshita to pick up the win. However, the celebration was cut short when, of course, Hangman Page made a beeline to the ring once again to try to get in the face of Jon Moxley, and it all hell broke loose as always. We don't know how it is. Even the members of the Blackpool Combat Club tried to separate them, but good luck with that. Now, we do get a very interesting anniversary video by Hook, as you know, celebrating his 1-year anniversary since debut. But, however, the celebration was cut short with that sneaky slime ball Stokey Hathaway, who believes that there was a conspiracy over the match that Hook had with Lee Moriarty for the FTW title. He thinks that the referee made a mistake, that that kind of puts it into his conspiracy. If I was Taz, I would definitely would review that, but let's see how that goes. Now our next match is the Regina di WAVE Championship. The Bunny along with Penelope Ford to take on Hikaru Shida. Now the Bunny said she had her issues knowing that she's seen Shida how she has risen from to the top, and she felt that she was left down because of her. But however, Shida said that she was willing to put the Regina di WAVE Championship on the line for her, and of course the Bunny has no problem. But however, the X factor in this match was in fact Penelope Ford getting away with it, tried to get involved, but however, like always, Shida came across with the katana and boom, good night, Bunny. However, during the post match, here comes Jamie Hayter, who issued the challenge. Whoever walked out as the winner of the Regina di WAVE Championship, she will have her as her next opponent for her first opponent to be for the AEW Women's Championship. To once again for Jamie Hayter to prove that she is a fighting champion. We know that Hikaru Shida has been a fighting champion during the time of the pandemic, and so has Thunder Rosa and Tony Storm. But we'll see what kind of a fighting champion she could be. I know some people are saying that it's time for Jamie Hayter to step away from Britt Baker. Now, Lee Moriarty comes out with his tag team partner, Big Bill Morrissey, to take on uh, Clayton Bloodstone and Izzy James. Now, you know this match was going to fall into favor with the firm. It was a crazy choke slam by Morrissey onto, I believe it was Bloodstone, and boom, 1, 2, 3, it was done right from there. Now we get an interview with FTR. This happened right after the, as you know, once again, the Ass Boys are trying to tarnish the legacy of FTR. They claim that FTR had lived their usefulness, that they're no longer at the top of the food chain. But as you know, they sent out a message by the Briscoes once again for part 3 to challenge them for the Ring of Honor World Titles. Now the FTR, they felt like they were not in a good mood, knowing that they did not win the AEW World Tag Team titles. But right now, here this come. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if the Ass Boys cost the FTR the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles, but we'll see what happens then at Final Battle tomorrow. I believe, okay, and as you know, we did hear from the House of Black recently that they're willing to go to war with anybody, and they declare war against right now Ortiz, who seems like he has his issues for what happened this past weekend, last week, with the House of Black. But this time, Kingston said he'll step up with him, and he said he doesn't care when or where. So he wants this match to happen too. So we'll see how this. Now our main event is the AEW All Atlantic Championship. Orange Cassidy laid out a challenge to Kip Sabian, but however, Sabian claims that he was injured. He said he has a suitable opponent who he thinks has class, and that opponent turned out to be someone we all are familiarized with. Coming from the UK, he was part of NXT UK. We're talking about Trent Seven. So I was surprised. I was well aware that he was there, but I didn't know what was the purpose because someone posted this on Twitter. I thought it was a pretty good match because it showed, okay, Trent Seven has never dealt with a guy like Orange Cassidy. Now the X factor here is this: we know there was a lot of interference coming in. Penelope Ford ran to the hills to get help, and she brought in the Bunny and her cohorts, the Butcher and the Blade, to deal with the best friends. I don't know where Danhausen was the entire time, but I do know is that in this particular moment, we were seeing that Kip Samuel would do anything to ensure that Orange Cassidy loses the match. But however, it was a orange punch and a beach break that sealed the deal for him to win the match to retain the title. But as we saw, Kip Sabian attacked Orange Cassidy, and he was not injured. He just faked it. But however, when we thought that no one was there to help him, here comes the natural Dustin Rhodes to help him. And I think that's the last thing that Trent Seven or Kip Sabian expected. But It is what it is. So we'll see what happens in the upcoming, and winter is coming, and that's going to be interesting. And don't forget, we have Final Battle coming up. So I will be reviewing that a little later. But right now, let's go to our last review, NXT Level Up. Okay, who levels up on this episode of NXT Level Up? So let's find out. Our opening match is Odyssey Jones versus Damon Camp. Now, we haven't seen Odyssey Jones on television for quite some time to wrestle. We know he's been doing some house shows since his return, but it's great to see him. But his opponent is none other than Damon Kemp, who we haven't seen from quite some time after, as you know, where he ended up in a bad situation with the Creed brothers. So this is a perfect time for him to reinvent himself, but he has to take on a very big individual like Odyssey Jones. Now, Odyssey Jones, as you know, he was injured for a few months back, and now that he's back, I'm happy to see him. He's getting back on track. But the obvious question is, how much ring rust does Odyssey Jones have? I feel like he hasn't missed a beat. I'm sure he was training. I'm sure that ever since he was cleared to wrestle, that he had to get back in the ring. But many people could say it would be an interesting dynamic that Damon Kemp would have won due to his background as an amateur wrestler. But no, it was some type of a slam by Odyssey Jones that picked up the win against Damon Kemp. So, welcome back, Odyssey Jones. Now, we do get an interview by Kelly Kincaid with Valentina Feroz. Now, Feroz, as you know, stepped up as a singles competitor when her tag partner, Ulissa Leon, is out of action. Spoke in Brazilian, and then she spoke how happy she is to be there. But she also knows she has to face a very interesting competitor that is Soruka, so her focus is on that. Now that was the match that was next. So we had Valentina Feroz and Soruka face off. I thought it was a pretty good match, but I want to skip this to the end. Now, did you guys saw exactly what happened in the end? I have to say that move that Soruka pulled off, holy cow. What the hell was that? I never seen anything like that. Now, if you guys have no idea what I'm talking, what she did is she was at a corner pad at the top. What she did is she lifted up her legs and then jumped onto um, Valentina Frost by grabbing her like in a stunner type maneuver. I never seen anything like that. If you guys ever seen it, check it out. Or better yet, let's let's see if we can find that right now. Ah, here it is. This is really ridiculous. I don't know what to. Okay, this is what she did. So watch what she does right here. Right here. Look at that. What the hell was that? Anybody tells me. So I have to say, whatever that was impressive. I have to say, that could be a big buzz for her with that type of maneuver. We don't know what to call it, but that sealed the deal for her to win the match. Now, our main event, we have Ikemen Jiro taking on Trick Williams. Now, Trick Williams was demanding that Ikemen take off his jacket, but he wouldn't do that. He's very talented with the jacket. However, I don't think Trick Williams knew what he got himself into. But however, there was a moment that Ikemen Jiro could have won the match after he pulled a moonsault, but it did not. Somehow Trick Williams got away with it. Um, what's his name? Ikemen was about to pull off his move that he normally does, the slash, but it was the trick kick that sealed the deal for him to pick up the win. So the obvious question is, when is Trick Williams' time? Well, we just gotta wait and see until the right moment arise for him. And I think that's pretty much it with NXT Level Up. I believe it's time for our last thing we're going to do, news updates. Okay, for our news update, so this is what we have for today. GCW has announced for some upcoming bookings that took place for the coming up in January, I believe. Now, for the Don't Talk to Me, that will take place on the 20th of January. I think that's the one in Huntsville, I believe. No, Charlotte, North Carolina. Hijo de Vikingo has been announced that he is signed to be participating in this particular event. And then the following day in Huntsville, Alabama, for Take a Picture, Nick Gage and Bussy are been announced that they will be there too. Now, for our Jersey Championship Wrestling update, for the upcoming event taking place on the 1st of January, the Battle Bowl has announced for a couple of entrants that will be involved. We have Beastman, Sam Stackhouse, CPA, Brogan Finley, Billy Starks, Sawyer Wreck, Billy Dixon, Kerry Morton, Bam Sullivan, Janai Kai, One Called Manders, and Main Event. So this is from what I'm hearing. I don't know what the Battle Bowl is about, but this will take place before the 56 nights of GCW. I'm not sure if that will be free on YouTube, but we will find out soon enough. Now, 2 entrants have been announced for the upcoming Battle of Los Angeles by Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. We have number 16, Konosuke Takeshita. I'm excited for that. And of course, we have Hijo de Vikingo. I'm excited for that. I have to say, great pick on these. So I'm excited for that. Now, Black Label Pro has announced for 2 doubleheader events taking place on the same day at different time. The first one is, of course, it's going to take place at the Crown Point, Indiana, at the RDS Gym, and it's going to be both shows will be on the 18th of February. The first one is Love Stinks. That's going to start at 4 p.m. A match has been announced. We have the Nature Boy Paul Lee taking on the Bad Boy Joey Janela, and then of course on 8 o'clock p.m. we have the next show, All My Friends Are Enemies. That I'm definitely interested on that. Now, Prestige Wrestling has announced for some upcoming matches, debuts, and all that. For the thing we carry on the 31st of December, Brick City House Boys make their debut, but their opponents will be none other than C4, Cody Chun, and Guillermo Rosas. That's going to be exciting. And 2 months later, for the Reality Unfolds, that will take place on the 17th of February of 2023. We have Liza Hall. She's been booked for this particular day. Now for our Japanese promotion stuff. P.P.P. Tokyo has announced for the upcoming event for next month on the 15th of January of 2023, the Feel the Mecha Vibe. A match has been announced. We have, of course, Marika Kobashi taking on Rina Yamashita. Now, I'm not sure if this is Marika Kobashi's second match as a freelancer. We know she had a previous match in November when she teamed up with Tsurumi Natsu, and we'll see how this one goes. Then finally, we have Japanese wrestler Shota. Shota, who I mentioned in Gambari Pro, was at a promotion called Pro Wrestling Legacy out of El Paso, Texas. But this particular tweet by them showed Shota that he was emotional because those who do know or don't, his favorite wrestler was Eddie Guerrero. One of his dreams is to wrestle in El Paso, where his fallen hero is originally from. And I think it was very emotional for him that he got to wrestle where his hero is originally from. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I know possibly the people of El Paso, Texas, who are big time wrestling fans, would appreciate, and I'm sure they'll treat him like an adopted son. And I think that's pretty great. Now, our last update, this is a very interesting tweet that was posted by a guy from Pro Wrestling Illustration named Kevin M. Now, we all been hearing what's been going on with Sasha Banks about her possible involvement in New Japan because she'll be attending at the Tokyo Dome for Wrestle Kingdom 17. This guy started the unsustained rumor. The rumor that he is spreading, what if Sasha Banks becomes the newest member of the Cosmic Angels? Now, the reason behind that, there's some things that you guys know. One, there's a picture of Sasha Banks with Mina Shirakawa. Now, if you guys never seen that photo, I will post that photo at the end of this part of the segment. But it would make sense. Now, I did went back over something that Tam Nakano mentioned. She said that she would like to have overseas talent to be part of the Cosmic Angels. And Sasha Banks seems like the perfect. Now, do I think she's the right fit? No. But in perspective, it could help boost up the popularity, but also the turn Cosmic Angels as the best unit that they always said they're gonna be. And I think it would make sense. Now we know that Cosmic Angels haven't had any foreign wrestlers in their unit. So far, we have seen them either in Otatai, Queen's Quest, um, Stars. Um, we know in DDM the only one who is foreign is, of course, Tekla. But seeing Sasha with Cosmic Angels, it would make sense. I'm not sure if, like I said, if she's a right fit. I know because of her relationship, because of that picture with Mina. I don't know if Mina or Sasha are still in communication. That is something we don't know. But it's interesting for someone to spread something like that. So we'll see what happens. But check out the photo, and from there on, let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, we have Choco Pro 274, I believe. We have some interesting debuts coming up on this one. Make sure it gets back after she went to Singapore for a 2-day event. And also, we got more on New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I believe we're going to be focusing on the Super Junior Tag League matches, and of course, NWA USA. That will be one particular episode by itself. Now, the next one we will focus possibly on NXT Deadline and Ring of Honor Final Battle if it's possible. Oh, and of course, we cannot forget New Japan Strong on that particular scenario. So we'll see how this one plays out when we get there. I think that's pretty much it what we're going to have. But I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.